Imagine you wake up in the morning, walk sleepily into the kitchen, and there she is sitting in front of you. A black widow. Not metaphorically, not a murderous woman from a true crime novel or anything like that. A real spider, highly poisonous, in your apartment. At first you think, okay, chill, this is America, I've heard they exist. But then you realize you live in a state where this spider doesn't belong. It doesn't live here. It shouldn't exist here. And that's where the most absurd rabbit hole I've probably discovered in recent years begins. The story of an ex-Marine and toy YouTuber who single-handedly brought a spider infestation to his neighborhood. Welcome to the story of Beanmeister22. A quick warning in advance. The video involves spiders and all kinds of creepy crawlies. So if you're not comfortable with that, you'd better skip the video. And it gets stupid. Very stupid.
Who's the boy that asks all the questions, explains the world to you and makes you laugh? Who shows you things you don't know yet? Everyone knows it's Prometheus.
That's me. Beanmeister22 is not a big name on YouTube. He's no Mr. Beast or Logan Paul. He's a classic 2015 YouTuber. Toys, pranks, a bit of travel, a bit of family content. Together with his wife, he tends to target a younger audience, so the content is generally pretty harmless. Well, as far as that's possible, because we all know that toys can be really expensive. And when your favorite YouTuber is constantly showing you new stuff, you naturally want to have new stuff all the time. And that's when it stops being fun, at least for the viewers' parents. But Beanmeister also had a problem. He too had to keep buying new toys to create new content. And the channel wasn't doing so well that he could easily finance it. His solution? Buy used toy collections on Craigslist. Basically, a flea market site where you can buy and sell old stuff. And that's where the problem started. The package came from California. He checked the contents, left everything open in the hallway, and spent the day like that. When he came into the kitchen the next morning, he saw it sitting there. A black widow spider. I know what I would do, and I'm sure it's what your first thought would be too. But Beanmeister had a different plan. He caught the spider and took it to an expert. The expert confirmed, yes, it was definitely a real, highly poisonous black widow, which definitely does not live in this area. The expert was naturally curious about where Beanmeister got it from, and when he heard that the spider came from Beanmeister's apartment, he became nervous. His comment, "That's very, very bad." Because a black widow rarely comes alone, and especially if there was a pregnant one among them, then he would probably have a really big problem. A quick spider fun fact so you understand the extent of the problem. A single female can lay 200 eggs per egg sac, and it only takes her 20 days to do so. So in the worst case scenario, this animal multiplies 200-fold every month. This is no longer an animal, it's a biological printer. And actually, there's not much fun in this fun fact. Anyway, Beanmeister hit the jackpot and probably had a pregnant black widow in the package. Because suddenly, the arachnids are appearing everywhere. Kitchen, bedroom, bathroom. These little creatures are crawling around his apartment everywhere. And of course, the reason was quickly found. A pregnant widow came into the house with the toys, laid her eggs, and now the population is exploding. But wait a minute. As a trained spider expert, you might say, black widows are web spiders. They don't just wander around the apartment. Haha, I've got you, Prometheus. That's fake news again. Not so fast, my spider expert friend, because yes, black spiders are web spiders. Unless they can't find enough food, then they go on a journey and look for the next best food source. And in case of doubt, that's their own kind. It's basically a self-sustaining system. Yay! A quick commercial break to thank my favorite sponsor for this video, you. By watching this video, you are already supporting me beyond measure. Thank you for that. And if you want to support me even more and you like the videos, please leave a comment and/or like. Back to the topic at hand. Beanmeister now has a huge problem, of course, and he tries everything to get rid of it. Everything except the most obvious thing. He buys sticky traps, tons of insect spray. He tries home remedies like peppermint. I have no idea where he read that, but he must have read somewhere that the little creatures don't like peppermint. But nothing helps. So he moves on to the next logical step. No, still not what we all think. He calls an exterminator. The exterminator gasses the whole house. Really, the whole house. Beanmeister can't return to his house for 2 weeks because, to be on the safe side, gas is pumped into the house a second time. But at least after 2 weeks it's over and he can return to his house. However, there was still one tiny problem. Because the spiders come back too, or rather, they never left. The whole operation was for nothing. So now the next step? No, of course not. Beanmeister's idea: starve the spiders. The house is completely sealed off. Nothing can get in. Nothing can get out. Everything edible, even the smallest crumbs, is removed, and everything is made completely sterile. Anyone who has been listening carefully will immediately recognize a problem. In an emergency, the spiders will eat each other and their children. Please don't try this at home. So this plan also fails, and it gets even worse. Beanmeister finds a dead black widow in his car, even though the house was hermetically sealed. The only logical explanation? The spider came outside with him on his body, in his clothes, a backpack, or, God forbid, in his hair. Sorry if you're already feeling creepy crawly all over. Beanmeister slowly realized that he was facing his final opponent here. Traps had failed, starvation didn't work, even the exterminator didn't stand a chance. And even though we're all now screaming about what he should finally do with his house, he still has another idea. He searches the internet for natural enemies of black widows, and he finds them: tarantulas. So he releases a tarantula in his apartment to take care of the problem. And believe me, neither of us knows to what extent a tarantula roaming freely is supposed to make the problem better. But now success comes. The tarantula successfully kills the first black widows, grows and thrives, then retreats to a corner of the house to molt, and is then attacked and killed by the black widows. But until then, great plan. So he goes one step further and gets 2 huntsman spiders this time. They can then defend each other while molting. Again, I don't see any improvement in the problem. The result of the action? One huntsman spider is eaten by the other one. After that, the black widows killed it. Beanmeister moves on to plants. He gets Venus flytraps. But black widows are too strong and can easily free themselves from the plant. Result, the plants starve. And Beanmeister just doesn't stop. He gets a dragon lizard, puts it in the house, goes on vacation for 2 weeks, and when he comes back, the lizard is gone. No corpse, no traces, just gone. Still unexplained to this day. From here on, it just gets absurd. He uploads his story as a video and the whole thing goes somewhat viral. And to help him, viewers start sending him highly poisonous animals in the mail. Scorpions, millipedes, snakes, everything. Because he has no idea about these creatures, he puts them in toy containers for now. But he has learned from his mistakes and wants to find out which of these animals are best at dealing with the spiders. So he builds an arena. Yes, a real animal arena where he lets the various opponents fight black widows. And as I said, he still has no idea what kind of animals he has, but here's a selection. African giant millipede, extremely poisonous, wins almost every match but is then overwhelmed. Bark scorpion, one of the most venomous scorpions in the world, also wins frequently, but then somehow loses interest in the spiders. Snake completely ignores the spider. I'd say draw, and he uploads every match to his former toy YouTube channel, until YouTube gets fed up and the channel is banned. Animal fights are somehow not the kind of content you want to have. And then his house burns down. Completely by accident, of course, so Beanmeister is never accused of anything, and that's why we don't want to speculate or pass judgment here. But I think we all agree on that. Anyway, Beanmeister is really paranoid. He takes every piece of furniture apart. Oh, I should have mentioned that he somehow managed to get the most valuable furniture out of the house before the fire, coincidentally. And as he's taking his bed apart, he finds a new black widow egg sac. The creatures had been living right next to him the whole time while he was sleeping. Hey, but I warned you at the beginning not to watch the video. Now it's your own fault that you can't sleep anymore. In the end, Beanmeister moved into a new house and was able to get rid of his unwelcome roommates. Today, he's still on YouTube. He's now completely focused on spider and insect content, and even voluntarily keeps spiders as pets. This time, however, he treats them humanely and without arena fights. Somehow, he survived this plague of highly poisonous animals. The former horror turned into fascination, you could even say a kind of friendship. So, in a way, it's a happy ending. Now, my question to you. At what point would you have gotten out of the whole thing? I know that my house would have burned down by chance after the first spiders hatched. But what do you think? Write your thoughts in the comments. And, until then, stay healthy, check your furniture, and sleep well.
Who's the boy that asks all the questions, explains the world to you and makes you laugh? Who shows you things you don't know yet? Everyone knows it's Prometheus.